Hey, Daryl, today we've got a video that is here by popular demand because a lot of people are still wondering about backdoor Roth conversions. You and I have talked about it before. It's a really popular retirement savings tool slash loophole. So why are we talking about it again?
Well, we talked about this, I think, in November,
Yeah.
and the
Mhm.
reason we're talking about it is it was never resolved. It was
Right.
just, I mean, I remember we talked at the time about like everybody was kind of going crazy. Should I do it? What do I do? And it was in the Build Back Better bill,
Hmm.
but the second part, some people thought it was in the first part, the part that passed, but it was in the second part that didn't pass. And so now, people want to know if they could do the strategy, and I think that that's the reason why it's come back. Is because it's just been lingering out there and not resolved.
Right. Okay. So just break it down again. What is a backdoor Roth?
Okay, so p- there are income limits to make a Roth contribution, and if you're below the income limits, then you can make this Roth contribution $6,000 or $7,000 if you're over 50. So what the backdoor is, it's a way for either wealthier people or people who are making more in a certain year to get money into the Roth environment. So the literal mechanics of this are to put money into a regular account and then immediately convert it so that it starts to grow in the Roth environment. It's a it's you term like is it a loophole? Is it like what is it exactly? It's kind of weird. It's something that the IRS has never really cared about. They just
Hmm.
they know it happens, and they some taxpayers like to take advantage of it, but they really don't care about it. But now
Right.
it's in the news because it was supposed to be in that second bill.
Right. Yeah, that's why they call it the back door, right? You're doing it kind of, I mean, not sneaky. It's there, but it.
Right.
So you mentioned some income limits with Roths. Roths. What are the income limits with the back door?
Okay, so there's the income limits are not on the back door; they're on the front door, if you will. They're
Okay.
on the regular account. So
Okay.
if you're married, you make between $204,000 and $214,000. Um, in the middle there, then you start to get phased out. But if you're over 214, you just can't do it. If you're under
Okay.
204, you can.
All right.
It is 129,000 for single people, and if it's over 144, then those taxpayers can't do it. So those are so the whole idea of a Roth account is supposed to be like a Main Street type of
Mhm.
investment, not a Wall Street investment. It's
Okay.
supposed to be accessible to people. So it's the wealthy that want to take advantage of the back door.
Okay. Now, how about a mega backdoor Roth?
The mega backdoor Roth sounds great, right?
Hmm.
So this is more about the Roth 401k, which has higher limits. This is about taking after-tax money that's put into a Roth 401k and converting that. So if I'm sharing that the limits are 6,000 or 7,000 if you're 50 and older, they're significantly higher for the Roth 401k. Now, the Roth 401k for many people is inside of an employer plan, so you can't always do it. But if you can convert like that, it is a giant way to get money into the tax free world,
Right, which is could be very good.
right?
What we talked about last in November was trying to figure out if a backdoor Roth conversion was right for you. I understand it takes a lot of math and whatnot to figure out, but there was also a potential risk with doing a conversion now that you wanted to address.
Well, you never want to do something that let me say it like this. You're all in the back of your mind when you're thinking about doing something, and the IRS like has this on its radar, or Congress. They're thinking about it. You think, well, what if I do it and then I get in trouble or something like that? It's a lot has to happen for you to do a backdoor Roth a backdoor Roth conversion, and then have the IRS say, hey, no, you can't do that. The first thing is both the House has to agree on something. Like the House of Representatives has to come up with a bill. They have to get over the finish line with that.
Yeah, they're not
And
agreeing on
then
much these days.
no, they don't do that. And then they have to include the strategy. So they have to include this there. Then it's got to go to the Senate and back to the House. So a lot has to happen. And then after all that is said and done, it needs to be made retroactive, which would mean that the IRS would say, okay, well, if you've done it, we're still going to go back. They don't really do that, right? So they say, okay, we're going to start. In fact, they could say you can do it this year, but not next year. So I don't see it as risky because the IRS traditionally has not really cared about it, and an awful lot has to happen for them to go back and say, "Hey, let's rethink this."
Right, and clawing back money is never popular with constituents, so I can't imagine that that would happen, but
No,
we'll
that's
see.
right.
Good to know
That's
all
right.
the options. Daryl, thank you.
Okay.